Well, you and your child are invited to a birthday party full of preschoolers, and all of a sudden you see all the kids sitting around listening or to an activity very quietly, and all of a sudden your child is the one with a high energy jumping everywhere around, and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Why is my child like this? And how can I control his energy? Well, today we have an expert to answer one question. What do we need to know about high energy children, and what do we do? Today with me is Dr. Debby Mitchell.
Well, I can speak to this because I was that high energy child.
I've heard a lot about your childhood.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I can recall, when you start having memories, some of the things that stand out is, why don't you sit still? Keep your legs still. Stop fidgeting. Quit hitting that pencil on the table. In my third grade, I won't name the teacher, but I had to write sentences that said, I will stay in my seat and I will not talk. Now, luckily, teachers today understand different learning styles much better. So I was what you call a kinesthetic learner.
What is a kinesthetic learner?
A kinesthetic learner is someone that needs to move to learn. They cannot sit still. The others are a visual learner. They need to see. So many people need to see the activity. They need to see the person talking. They need to see how the ball was hit. Other people like me need to hit the ball, not just see it. And then you have your auditory learner that learns best by hearing. So you tell them, put your feet this way, put your arm this way, put the ball right on the top of the thing to hit it off. I can't even think right now because I'm visual, then kinesthetic. So you have the child and you're telling them how to do it. You aren't showing them and you aren't letting them do it. So most children at a young age are all kinesthetic learners, because they learn by moving around their environment. As they get older, maybe one of the other learning styles starts taking hold and they can sit for longer periods of time.
Wow. So let's talk about the causes, right? How do I know? Let's unpack that topic.
First, parents should think about, is there something outside of their child's normal development? Are they getting enough sleep? Are they eating too much sugar? Is there a new stressor at home? Are they getting too much screen time? Screen time greatly impacts the brain in ways that are unhealthy. So you want to look at all those other things, and if those aren't the cause or things that you need to change, then probably your child is just an active learner like I was. So then you want to find ways to channel that behavior in meaningful ways. So a lot of the ways to channel it is, don't think you're going to wear them out. You are not going to wear that child.
They're going to wear us out.
They're going to wear us out. So you give them permission or opportunities to use that high energy. Even with my grandchildren, I will do things like, before we go into a restaurant where I know they need to sit for a while, I'll say, can you do 50 jumping jacks and count them? Well, they're counting and they're moving.
Really?
And I do that
of the restaurant?
Before going into the restaurant. And then I need to slow them down. Well, the best way to slow them down and to calm them down is now doing something slow. Can you show me how you can balance on your tiptoes and count slowly to 10? That brings that high energy down to a lower energy to prepare them to go in, or to prepare them to sit in a circle or to sit still for a short period of time. But even once they're seated, you might have to give them little challenges like, we're going to play the no move game. Can you sit still game? I want to see if you can go 30 seconds and not even see an expression on your face. By doing that and starting to extend that time, you're getting them to self-regulate and learn how to slow themselves down. The other things you can do are teaching them how to relax. So Marnie.
Oh my God, how do you teach a child? Is that realistic? And when can we start teaching that?
As soon as they're able to understand what you're saying. For example, we're going to take 3 deep breaths. So Marnie, I want you to take in a deep breath, and I want you to pretend that you are taking in the deepest breath you can and filling up your lungs. So inhale, like you're smelling a rose. Now blow it out like you're blowing out a candle. Now breathe in again. Smell that rose. Blow it out.
You're probably doing it.
One more time. The other thing I can do is help you relax. I want you to relax your whole face. You see even a little bit of lips really loose. Now tighten them. Now loosen them. Now tighten your hands. Let me see your hands. Come on, Marnie.
Okay.
Come on. Now relax them. So you teach them how to tighten and relax different parts of their body so that they learn to relax. Yoga poses are great to do. Just activities that will slow them down. We are going to pretend like we're walking through Jell-O, really slow. So you slow them down in an activity, but then you give them chances to be that high energy child.
But let's be realistic. I mean, some high energy children have a very short attention span. How do you deal with that?
You have to change their challenge very often. Honestly, the research shows that their attention span is about 1 minute for every age. Oh. So let's say a 2-year-old, then their attention span might be 2 minutes. Well, for a very active child, probably cut that in half. So you have to give them different challenges. As soon as one challenge is over, you may need to give them another challenge, or what I like to say is redirect them. If they're starting to get in trouble, instead of being angry with them or raising your voice, try to redirect them. Say, oh, did you see that car go by? Oh, look, what color was it? Just little things that capture their attention instead of the active misbehavior that you might think that they were doing.
Wow, parents then have to have like a lot of cars of challenges how to do that. But let's talk about the attention span, right, for a minute. So if you would like a kinesthetic learner to focus for a little bit to like teach or learn something new, what would be the strategy?
The main thing you need to do with a kinesthetic learner is let them move while they're learning. So if we're talking about measurements and we're looking at water or sand, letting them actually scoop up the sand or the water and measure it, they will do that for 30 minutes because it's kinesthetic for them and they're enjoying it. And then you ask them questions while they're doing it. You have to give that kinesthetic an opportunity to move for their learning purposes.
So is it a good practice for a parent to just try to bring their child into a conversation or to do or focus if they want to stay move around?
Absolutely.
Everywhere?
Ask, what are you doing? What would happen if you did this? What would happen if you put more water in your bucket? Oh, the water went over your bucket. So what do you need to do? How heavy is it? Can you carry that water over and put it over there in that sink? Or water those flowers for me? So you just constantly give them small challenges. Now, there's also the time when you just need them to sit still. So you have to come up with things that they can do. And it would be things like
a couple of examples.
How many words can they think of that start with the letter A? And can they say them really quietly? So little things that keep challenging them over and over and over. Or, okay, we're at a birthday party, so we need to sit quietly, but I want you to look around and I want you to see how many balloons can you see. So there's just those little strategies that you can try to help that child. And other times they just need to move. So ask them to run around the tree 30 times. They'll probably do it.
It's true. But okay, so going back to your childhood and your kinesthetic learners, what are the things that you remember that were very frustrating for you as a learner?
Well, one thing was telling me how to do something the same way every time. So I'll give an example when I was older because that's probably the most concrete one I can remember. I was doing algebra and geometry, and the teacher at that time would sit and on an overhead write how to do it. And I would raise my hand and say, I don't understand. So instead, she would just repeat it again the same exact way. I didn't understand it the first time. Just because you said it again, why would I understand it? So she needed to give me options for different ways to solve that, or better yet, give me a concrete example how if you did angles or you're adding numbers or you have shapes, how they would all go together. And luckily today, we have, because of the internet, because of some of the rich resources, they have examples of those so that you can see how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any misconceptions about or reputation about kinesthetic learners that you would like to address?
We're not naughty. We are not naughty. We actually are the life of the party. We like to have fun. We like to have good friends. We like to do things with others. And so if you can channel that, you'll find that your child will be happier and healthier, and you will relax yourself as a parent, realizing that your child is normal.
Yeah, well, so you relate to the children in the schools when you visit that are moving around, and you actually, this has been your life mission, to work with kids that are kinesthetic learners. Can you tell us a little about learn exercise?
Well, one of my passions is brain research, and the other is movement and music. So I found that if children are moving to meaningful lyrics, then they will remember it. So I made up lots of songs so that they learn while moving. Well, as it turns out, it's not only good for kinesthetic learners, but it's multisensory learning. There are more brain connections being made when you use more senses. So if you have the lyrics, you hear auditory, you hear the rich vocabulary. If you are moving, you are now kinesthetic, so you're integrating that. You're seeing somebody else or yourself or your other people in your classroom doing it. You're going to make more brain connections. And just think about it. You probably remember songs when you were young.
Yeah.
And if it had movements to it, you probably remember those. Why? Because you had all of those senses integrated. So learner size is moving while learning.
I love it. So in the car, when we're like picking up your child from school, you can play on that music again and again and again, Baby Shark, whatever it is, and you can
have them move.
Or
they can learn even academic things. Like we have a song about simple machines. So they act like they're pulling a flag up a flagpole. They act like they're on a seesaw. Well, that becomes concrete to them. There's those brain connections being made.
Well, so as an advocate of kinesthetics learners, because this is what you become today, and for parents that are not like that, you have a child that is very different. How can you deal with that active child in moments that you're like, oh my God, I need a break?
Well, I just give them a quick challenge that's not too difficult and not too active. For example, can you stand on one foot? I'll be at a restaurant waiting to pay the check, and my kids want to run around, my grandchildren, or my kids when they were younger would want to run around. So I go, hey, can you stand on one foot? All of a sudden, so they're focused in trying that.
And encourage that physical activity. So probably those kids need the sports, are like very interested in anything that has to do with sports.
Moves. And even simple things like, can you touch your ears? Can you touch your chin? Chin. Where is that? They may not know it, so I'm going to give them a hint. Now they've developed that word as chin. So just little things where you identify things that they can move, even if they're subtle little things. Or we were talking about relaxation. So another thing that you might do is say, okay, Marnie, close your eyes. Close them right now. What can you hear?
Oh, you challenge it with that. That's genius.
So then they start answering, I can hear birds. I hear the air conditioner.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear you talking. Which way is it coming from? Can you tell which way it's coming from? Because this ear hears sounds from this side, this ear hears sounds from this side, and they start determining the directions.
Wow. Okay, so they're great tips. So we're talking about giving them more opportunities to physical activities, practical information, challenge them with like this type of challenge, movement-based activities. Maybe offer expectations.
Oh, that's a very good that you brought that. You need to do some things. You need to have some routine. Mm-hmm. Children do better when they have a routine. They also do better, your active child, if you give them a warning. In 5 minutes, it's going to be bath time. In 2 minutes, it's going to be bath time. So you give them that expectation of what's going to happen next.
I like that.
You stay calm. As parents, sometimes we want to raise our voice, but we say calm and loving. Honey, it's time to go to bed. Sometimes when you talk softer, they even stop because they want to hear what you're saying. And be loving.
Yeah.
Hugs, let them know how much you care about them and you love them, and give them that safe environment.
And there's a fine line between like a high energy child and a like new disorders, because now there's like a spectrum for everything, right?
Yes, there is.
So I mean, how do you know like what is the fine line between a normal high energy child and a child with ADHD, for example?
Well, a child that is normal in just being active is one thing. But when you start seeing that the child cannot relax, none of your strategies are working for that child, then you need to perhaps get medical assistance or medical advice. Be wary of giving them drugs at an early age, because many times, and I've had several friends, I wasn't one of them that had a hyperactive child, but I had many friends, they could actually solve the problems a lot by just giving them constant challenges with activity.
Well, yeah.
And diet. Diet makes a big difference.
Oh, talk about that. Like, let's unpack that, because that's another excellent strategy. Yeah, what children eat at home or in the schools, like pretty much like sets up the expectation.
Well, we know that children need more protein because they're building muscle.
Yeah.
We want to stay away as much as possible with processed foods, but also sugar is probably the biggest issue. And so much of our food, even our food that we get from the grocery store, have added sugars to it. So you need to check. You need to check to see how much sugar they're getting. And many times you can go, you can hear the teacher say the day after a holiday, all my kids ate too much sugar yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Or the parents, when they come bring them home, please don't. So screen time and high energy kids, is it a wise decision?
There is so much research that shows that screens change the way the brain works. There is an addicting factor with the screen time, and hardly any other activity can compare with what's happening on the screen with all the lights and the sounds, and now even the rewards that children want to do. Children should get, really, the experts say, should not get screen time before age 2. And after that, it should be limited. And you want to use it for more learning purposes than game type of purposes. And you have to be careful about the ads that are on there, the things that they're seeing, because it's just not appropriate for their age. But parents, I would suggest that you look at all the research, and there is a lot, to show how it negatively impacts the brain.
And that's a complete new episode.
That's a completely new one.
For high energy children, you wouldn't recommend a lot of screen time, and it would be only for learning purposes and maybe to relax a little bit.
And to relax, there are some things like a yoga that they could follow and relax. Or they're learning different concepts, but it's not that high energy, bells and whistles everywhere that gets them all hyped up and ramped up even more.
And it will be even wise maybe to measure, like, or to understand what are the peaks of energy.
Yes.
What is the time of the day that my child has more energy? For example, like, I'm a busy bee in the morning, right? You got me in the evening, I'm like, boo,
There you go.
And the older I get, I have to confess that like the
energy's not there. Not the same?
Not there. No. And then my husband, he's completely the opposite. Oh my God, he's he wakes up late, and then he has so much energy in the evening. So that would be good to understand in your children, like, what is the pattern of the energy levels at different times? Does that
happen after they've been sitting for a long time? Are they bored?
Yes.
And you have to realize children, as they start getting older, say they're bored all the time. Well, they're not bored. They just don't know how to entertain themselves.
Yes. And I don't like that at all. When children, like, as they get older, I'm bored.
Well, so I'll give you another example of something you can do with your child. You say to them, you have a lot of energy today. I want you to come up with a game using these 3 balls, this hula hoop, and let's use a jump rope. You'd be amazed at what they come up with. And that's what children are lacking. You remember when we were younger, we made up games and played outside? Kids today need to be directed often, but it's because we direct them all the time.
They don't have outdoor time as much as we used to, or things like that. But that's such a great advice. I think we should focus one day just in outdoor play. That will be a wonderful topic. And what are the best toys for high energy kids?
Well, you do want to let them have some toys where they can fidget. That's very important, and give them fidget time. But you don't also need bought toys. You can use bubble wrap. Yeah. You can use other types of things that have texture to them because they like the texture. Usually things around your house, a box.
Wow. So today We talked about what to do with your high energy child, how to understand them, connect with them. And this has been my friends, Dr. Debby Mitchell's live work on how to become an advocate for kinesthetic learners and the activities that they should be doing. And if you love this chapter and if it was useful, please subscribe and share with your friends, because we at Young Innovators are on a mission to change the world of education and to raise the next generation of innovators. See you next time.